Hello, welcome to the online course What is an Open Data Journalism and Why We Need Skills to Search for Data. In this section, we will have a look at one of the best open data journalism stories so far, its strategy, methodology, and impact. The story Hurricane Maria's Death even received an award for the Investigation of the Year at Data Journalism Awards in 2019. The story was done by the Center for Investigative Journalism in Puerto Rico. Let's first have a look at the project overall. Open data journalists collected hundreds of stories from Puerto Ricans who said their relatives died because of Hurricane Maria in 2017, but were overlooked by the government. Names of the dead were matched against the death records released by the Puerto Rican government, to which access was gained by the journalists only after a lawsuit against the government. The journalists also interviewed about 300 families that have lost family members and reviewed the records of nearly 200 others using the Center for Disease Control and Prevention's criteria for certifying disaster-related deaths. The project involved a large survey, phone interviews, a government lawsuit, which culminated into an unmatched analysis of the scope and nature of Maria's death toll. The journalist's goal was discovering the true fatality count of the storm. So what made this project so innovative? It has been so far the only large-scale journalistic project to capture the scale of destruction and loss of life in a natural disaster using a database and collecting the new data via an online survey to have the record of verified deaths. It was a combination of on-the-ground reporting, crowdsourcing, and open data journalism. The journalists even sued the government to obtain statistics that they're not open yet. They also collected victims' leads from various databases. After the journalists won the suit, the government released the island's mortality statistics and records, but did not identify which were hurricane-related. In response, the journalists used data journalism tools to single out hurricane-related deaths, to cross-reference and verify with official statistics and death certificates. They also automated parts of the data collection process. The Statistical Analysis Program R was used to collect, clean, and deduplicate cases into a spreadsheet of uniform death records. Data journalists also extracted quantitative data from interviews in which family members mentioned the causes of death, ran a text analysis to identify the most common circumstances of death, used coding and other tools to present it in an accessible graphic. What was the impact of this data journalism investigation? The data journalism research exposed how many people actually died because of the hurricane. It uncovered the numbers were much higher than they were actually presented in the data that was released by the government. This data journalism investigation also exposed that hundreds died due to the lack of basic medical attention and services amid the months-long electricity and communications blackout. This data journalism investigation also presented how the government could prevent deaths in the future. Stories that were heard from victim family members show that the local and federal governments were unprepared for the storm, and then they were even slow to respond to it. This led to many likely preventable deaths. The results provided the importance of keeping timely and accurate death statistics, which are vital to identify and address deadly situations in the immediate aftermath of a disaster. It provided a framework for planning a better response to future disasters aimed at saving lives. Aside from the analysis and reporting, the public gained access to thousands of government records. The data journalism project turned data into an open data. It was a fight between the government and the data journalists who actually won the fight. These kind of data journalism projects have a tremendous positive impact on the development of data journalism. This story also emphasized that being determined and brave while trying to uncover the truth in between data are extremely important personal skills of a data journalist. Thank you for your attention.